and businesses, individuals and businesses around finances. Yeah, I believe we'll have a good time trying to discuss what is before us, that is financial wellness. And as Jackie has said, indeed, I am very, this family is also very close to me because my own sister has a child on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum. So also a group that is very close to my heart. So I'm glad to be here. I'm excited about our discussions today. We started last week, and I hope everybody who is in the call has been able to catch up with last week. So we are just building up on the discussions that we had last week. Thank you, Jackie.
I think, Mary, we just go on ahead and you can begin the class because we've got people who are waiting. We've got people who are watching us on Facebook and on YouTube. So let's continue with the class. Yes.
All right. So I will want to share the screen and just speak on as we go on. Maybe you can enable me from your end to share the screen. Okay, I'll start by a recap of a bit of what we did last week and the topics that we discussed. And I started by introducing to you what financial wellness actually is. And I said financial wellness is about looking at your financial health as part of the overall person, as part of all the areas that you're supposed to look at. And finances happen to be a very a pertinent part of everything, because you cannot have good health without spending a bit of finance. You cannot work on your education without having a bit of finance. And so it touches on all aspects of our lives. And that is why it's important that we continue to talk and to have discussions around finance if we want to lead a healthy and wealthy life. And we discussed what is wealth, and we said wealth is about having a full life, not just having money, but living a life of abundance. And we also spoke about how to understand money and the emotions around money, just to reduce conflict that arise around money. And those conflicts usually come from traumas that we have suffered. And those traumas, when certain emotions come into play, and say, for example, when you when you're spending money, it's a transaction. When you're doing transactions with money, when you're trying to manage your money, when that money you're looking for, it becomes a bit scarce, what emotions rise up? And then those emotions, because those emotions are either negative or positive, depending on the traumas that you have suffered. Because what happens with emotions, they connect with the areas of pain. And every time you have certain emotions, then the areas of pain, your pain areas tend to rise up and take precedence. So you find that you may have fear around money, you may have anxiety. When for some people, it's constantly thinking about money. Money occupies your thoughts, say 90% of the time. And we are saying that we have all been exposed to money traumas. It's just probably the extent to which we have suffered. So we advocate for healing the traumas around money, and also working with a coach who understands some of these things will help you to heal from the traumas around money, so that money becomes a tool which you work with then to answer to every other need that you need. So we also talked a bit around assets, and we talked about some of the common assets that we have. And I think it was a good discussion around what assets do you think you have, and just to reveal to you that some of them, that assets that you think you have may not really be assets. And I think I want to continue along that line of speaking around the assets that then we can invest in. And I got some questions which I will answer first before we delve into the discussions. And somebody asked about insurance, and they asked if it is a good form of investment. And I worked in insurance for many years, so I have a bit of an insider information. But even because it's this is actually common knowledge, most insurance policies, and she was talking, she was actually asking about the education policy. Most insurance policies, they are designed to protect you, to mitigate some possible eventualities. They are designed to mitigate certain risks. They are not really designed as investment products. I know insurance companies are revising some of these products so that they can actually incorporate some elements of investment. So we have new products that are coming up within the insurance industries that have the element of investment, but the traditional ones, especially the ones that you get around education policies, life policies, they don't really have an element of investment. So when you go into it, go with that mind, knowing that you're going because you're mitigating certain risks. You're mitigating the risks of loss of life. Maybe if you pass on, then your policy then gets to pay without you increasing any more contributions. So there is something called waiver of premium. So those benefits are what you should be looking at. What benefits then am I getting out of this insurance policy? Some of them have critical illness, disability. If you get into an accident and you have permanent or even what we call temporary disability, then you can get compensation. So when we talk of insurance, it's good to just know and have that mind that it's not an investment. You are saving, you're putting in your savings, but it is for mitigating the risks. And when it's a life insurance, it's around the loss of life. when it's around education, then it covers your child in case you lose life. Is it a good thing? I believe it is a good thing. It depends on where you're looking at it from. But what I would advocate for is for you to have the full knowledge of what you're entering into, so that you don't confuse it with an investment, unless it is specifically there is that portion of it, and unless it's the newer products which are coming up, like I've talked about, that then give you that element of investment. So I hope I've answered the insurance question. Then there was another question around unit trusts. So unit trusts is an investment. So it is good to just differentiate that. Unit trusts, depending on the company, the fund manager, unit trusts are actually people who come in and form funds. Then they manage those funds in a professional way. And then those funds are actually registered with the Capital Markets Authority, and they pull the funds together so that they can actually be able to manage it and give you a good rate. So is it an investment? Yes, it is an investment. It will grow your wealth. And it depends now on the rate of interest that you're getting. My advice, like I said last time, is to look for a unit trust then that gives you above inflation rate return. Of course, there are many other things, risks that you need to look at. Is the fund registered? What is their asset base? I mean, you can look at all that. But most, one of the first things to look at is it giving you an above inflation rate? And the average inflation rate, we say the rate for this year is 5%, but most, if we look on an average, because you're not investing for 1 year, you're probably investing for many years, is around 7%. So look for unit trusts that give you around 7% or slightly above, because then 7% should be net of any fund management fees that go into that unit trust, or any other costs or taxes that you will pay once you get your interest. I think my advice would be ensure that anytime you are getting into an investment, you have educated yourself around that investment, just to mitigate the risks. And I think what I'll tackle is the various kinds of investments that are there in the market, and how you can go about getting into them, and what is my advice? What advice can I give you around them? So we have different kinds of investments, and the first one is what we call the fixed income assets. And these are around government bonds and corporate bonds. I will not speak about all the investments there is, unless you want me to, so you can push in a question if you want any specific area discussed. But I'll just discuss the main and the preferable forms of investments. So the fixed income form of investments, they give you a fixed income, they give you fixed interest. When it comes to government bonds, go for the ones that give you a fixed market, a fixed interest rate. those ones do better, and since they are long-term, go for a long-term one. A long-term one will give you better returns. They will do maybe around 12%, and you'll find that even if you're saving a small amount, then after whatever it is that you're putting in, after a long time, then you're able to build up a good amount of money. We also have corporate bonds. These are what these bonds do is like you're lending the government money. When we talk about government bonds, in simple terms, it's like you're lending the government money, and then they pay you with an interest. So it is the same with the corporate bonds. Different companies will float bonds that you give them money. It's like you're lending them money, and they will return that with an interest. It can be short-term, it can be long-term. And short-term means maybe it can be 3 months, it can be 6 months, it can be 1 year. Maybe the long-term, now we start counting from 1 year as a bit of a long-term investment. Then we spoke about, we touched a little bit about the real estate, and we spoke, we said this is one of the good forms of investments around in Kenya. And if you look at the commercial properties, the market is almost flooded in terms of commercial properties, especially in Nairobi. Maybe if you go to the counties, there's still room for that. We still need room. There's still a huge market around, especially the low-cost residential market, and the government has not, it's one of the government agendas to enter into that area, but they have not yet. I don't think there's much progress really, but it is an area that you can actually cash in. You can do it by just putting up your own rentals. Renters have you have the leverage of getting rental income that you can actually that is allowable. It has some things that are allowable for tax, like your repairs on the building and everything. So it ends up being a good form of investment. But then again, because of the huge capital, it has a huge capital. The initial capital that you probably put in might be relatively huge. Then you need to calculate your cash flows. Have they covered or recouped? How long will it take to recoup your initial outlay? So because you start earning after you have recouped the monies that you have put. So when it comes to investments, you have to keep on calculating your costs and your benefits. So even as you grow your money and as you decide which area of investment to go into, then you have to keep thinking about, keep working around, what is it that I'm getting? Am I really making money? Or is there a better way that I can make money? Because you can think, instead of putting that initial outlay into a real estate, then you can put it in a bond, which might end up earning you a little bit more than the real estate. So it depends on you, and it depends on. That is why the advice is very. It's very individualistic, and you need to engage a financial advisor. You need to engage a financial coach to be able to just so that you can lay out what do you have and how can you actually invest it and grow that money. Then we have equities. Equities are shares, buying shares into a company, and this can be a good form of investment. Most financial advisors will advise you to do it as a long term because of the fluctuations in the stock market. You do it as a long term sort of investment. My advice, my own personal advice, is that you engage somebody who knows about the shares. If you want to invest in the shares market, does it make money? Yes, it does make money. But most of the Kenyan population, they just, when they hear about an IPO, like the Safaricom IPO, they rush in, they buy shares, and they forget. They don't do anything about them. But then that does not grow you. You're just, and we have, in the NSC, we have over like 45 billion just lying, of people who have bought shares. They don't trade in them, they don't do anything about them, they're just there lying. So I think it's the Kenyan market has not been properly been educated around shares. So if you want to buy shares, then engage somebody, an expert who trades in shares, because then they get to make you money. Yeah, I mean, whose professional job, at the top of their mind, they are thinking about the shares and how they can, when they are going to, the prices are going up, when they are going down, they know the trends. I mean, that is what they do. And I would discourage that if you don't know about them, that you just buy and just forget about them. It doesn't make sense, and it just holds your money, and most of the times you end up just losing that money. So because of the fluctuations in the shares, then you need to just engage somebody who works in a stockbroker, those guys who do the work, and let them hold your account and trade. Let them sell when the shares go up. If you need money, you can withdraw. And when the shares go down, you buy, like now. And then when they go up, you sell. Don't just hold shares. It's really, and so many Kenyans are just holding shares for the sake of holding them. Let's talk a bit. I think I've talked a bit about unit trusts. The good thing about unit trusts and why it's a good, I would say a good investment, is because it's liquid. That means you can put in your emergency fund under unit trusts. And so, because you can actually be able to withdraw within 48 hours, not as fast as your bank account, which then I don't advise that you leave your money just lying in your bank account. Put your money in a unit trust. That saves you from unnecessarily using your money, because there's a small pain point of there's 3 days. So by the time you're going to withdraw, you really have a need to withdraw that money. And then again, your money, of course, is growing. It's growing, and choose a unit trust that is giving you some good returns. I think those are some of the sort of investments I would recommend. Of course, there are many others. The one that I know I lean on because as a kingdom entrepreneur, I lean on business and ventures because there's leverage. And what do I mean by leverage? As a kingdom entrepreneur, we look for businesses that that they are not just supporting you as a person, but they are also, we are looking for something, an investment that you're engaging in that is supporting other people. What do I mean by that? That is what we call businesses with leverage. When you put your money in the bank and it's lying there, you have millions in the bank and you're doing, or in a unit trust, for example, and there are problems in your community which you can solve with that money, but you have chosen to just keep it lying there, then you're not stewarding your resources well. And that is why when we talk about business ventures, we talk about people who are constantly thinking about what problem can I solve. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. But the little that I have, what problem can I solve? Because then the problem that you solve then gives back to you. And that is what you create impact. And also, if you want to create massive wealth, because then now we have to you will not create it because out of your salary, you put it where it grows. We say it is growing while you're asleep. It is growing while you're in comfort. It will, if you want massive wealth, you have to solve a problem. You have to solve a problem. And I said, the bigger the problem that you solve, the more wealth you're likely to come about. And you don't, when you enter into this venture, you don't enter into it with the mindset of making money. Always go with the mindset of there's a certain group of people who my love flows towards them. Say single mothers, say like Jackie, special needs parents. You know, there's somewhere where your love or your passion is flowing towards, and you follow that and ask yourself, who are these people? How can I help? What pains are they going through? What pain points? Is there something that, is there a pain that I can alleviate? How can I bring them together? How can how can we leverage on the numbers that we have brought together to solve our common problems? And you need to be that person who is at the forefront to champion some of these things, because at the end of the day, all the problems that we are facing the community, as we commonly say, serikali saidia, it should be, what is it that I'm doing? What is my little contribution? Because that is your journey. That is your journey of purpose. That is why you're here. That is why you're here. You're here so that you can solve a certain problem. And as I speak about ventures and businesses, and they should be born out of that place. They should be born out of a passion that you have, a gift that God has given you, a talent that you have. So you should constantly be asking, what gift do I carry? Is there some talents that I have that I don't know? What problems surround me that I can solve? Which people, I mean, where do I feel that my heart is being drawn to? So constantly ask yourself this question. It can be even in your workplace, it can be around your community, it can be in your social network. It is anywhere or everywhere, as I say. So this is the place where I'm more passionate about as a Kingdom entrepreneur, and just even to help people think through, coach people through thinking about this particular area, and how can we start a business, how can we leverage, who are these people that we are looking for, which is this field of favor. The field of favor we talked about. Where am I celebrated? Where are my talents being celebrated? Where do I find that I go and I do something and I'm celebrated? How can I grow that? Yeah, so look for those fields of favor. Look for places of passion. Look for gifts, and I believe even if you're employed somewhere, even if you're not employed, you can find this, because it is actually within you, and within you're very rich. It's very close to you. You don't have to go out there looking for it. It is something that is so close to you that it is something you can start just like that. It's not something that you need to be coerced, to be trained, to be to have these big ideas about. It is something that is so close, that seems so humble. That my favorite book says, do not despise humble beginnings. You know, that it is something that seems so humble. Maybe you're just walking around it and not thinking about it, because you're looking out for big ideas. But even if you look at the billionaires and the millionaires, they started with something so humble. It was unbelievable. Something so humble, it is unbelievable. So where do we start then? We start by making a financial plan. Always make a financial plan. When we talk about finances, and as you go around your finances, your spending, your acquisition, your management, because those are the big areas around finance, always have a plan. Put down your assets. What are your assets? What assets do you own? And maybe your small plot, the assets that you own. You can put them down and decide whether they are real assets or they are actually liabilities. Put down your liabilities. Your liabilities will include loans that you probably have taken, expenses that you expect to pay, accrued expenses like school fees, your rent, all those expenses, your groceries, all those electricity bills and all that. Put them down. And just weigh, first of all, just weigh your assets and your liabilities to see if you are spending more than you're making, because that is the beginning point then of trying to try to cut your expenses. Trying to control or cut your expenses so that you don't end up spending money that you don't have. Because when we talk about debt and loans, we are talking about, we should not take debt or take loans for consumption. But if you're taking a debt, then it should be for buying an asset that will give you cash inflows. For example, if you want, say, to put up some rentals, you can decide, since you don't have the money, then you can pick up a loan or a mortgage or whatever, but it has to be an asset that is giving you cash inflows. There's money that is coming in. And when you take a loan for consumption, then you get into a cycle, what I would call a cycle that you may not be able to get out of. because the minute that loan goes before, I mean, the minute your liabilities go ahead of your assets, and you find yourself that you're spending money that you do not have, it may be very hard for you to repay that money because you don't have the cash inflows. So avoid debt that is for consumption, avoid debt loans that are for buying liabilities, and liabilities we said are like car loans, unless of course you know where unless you're taking that loan because you're mitigating cash flows, and I can explain a bit of that. I already have the money, I know where I will get the money to buy this car, but my money comes in form of rental income, and I get 100,000 maybe every month. I can go and take a car loan because I know my cash inflows will actually cover the loan. But I cannot advise you to take a loan if you do not, if it's for a liability and you do not have the cash flows that you anticipate to pay with that loan with. I hope I'm clear. So don't when it comes to debt, just be careful how you take your debts. Debts are not it's not it is a good thing if you're managing cash flow. You just want to manage your cash flows, like I've said, because your monthly, what is coming your monthly cannot be 1 million, but you want to buy something that is for 1 million. But you will be able to repay maybe on a monthly basis because your cash flow is coming in, your cash is coming in on a monthly basis. So what else would you do when you're doing your financial plan? Then those are the things that you put in your financial plans. I need a car. How will I get it? How can I mitigate? Do I take a loan? Do I do savings? Do I invest somewhere? Then when I take out my investment, then I can purchase. Those are the things now you put in your financial plan. Then you need to establish some financial goals, because why we are doing this is because we want to grow money. So there is a principle called the seed and bread. Every time you receive money, say for example your income, your monthly income, say it is your salary. It is not all for bread. There should be some, and bread, by bread I mean all for consumption. You've been given, you should save something. That is if you want to grow wealth. So every time you want to grow wealth, every time income comes, you get some income, divide it, 10% for seed or more, 10% minimum or more. You can do more depending on how much you have, but do 10%. If it's 100 shillings, save 10 shillings. If it is 200, save 20 shillings. But don't eat everything. Don't eat everything because you're getting little money. You will not get, don't wait to have a lot of money. It is a principle. Don't wait to have a lot of money to start saving. Save from the little that you have. Save 20 shillings, save 30 shillings, save 50 shillings, like that. It's a principle, and you just need to continue to, the more you exercise it, the more it works for you. Principles are laws that work, laws that like gravity. They come with, I would say, with an inherent, they come with an inherent benefit. This law has an inherent benefit. The benefit has been put inside that law. The judgment has also been put inside that law. If you don't follow it, it will hurt you because it is existing in our universe. it is existing. It's like gravity. You cannot see it, but it is there. If you jump from a 3-story building, you will hurt yourself, because gravity will definitely take you down. That is the same way these laws work. And so when I talk about, so they are there, they are existing in the universe, they are existing in the universe of money. So every time you think about the universe of money and growing wealth, some of these principles, if you don't follow them, they will hurt you. You will get hurt. And getting hurt means you will not reach that goal that you're looking for. So when it comes to seed and bread, seed is for reinvesting. It's like the seed is what now you take back. The seed is what you grow. Whether it is 10 shillings, the next month it will be growing, it will be 20. When you add 20, it becomes 30. When you add another 30, it becomes 50, it grows. And what you have put continues to grow and to multiply and to increase. Before you know it, you have good amounts of money. And I can't overemphasize this, the principles, the laws around money. There are many, and I don't know if I'll be able to cover all of them, but I can mention as we go along. So you always, in your financial plan, you always need to put down your cash needs. What is it? What do I need in form of cash? For example, I need school fees at the end of every 3 months, so that in form of cash, how am I then keeping some money that is paying for that school fees? So put in your every cash need that you have when that cash need is needed, and then put in the monies that are coming in, if it is your salary, the monies that are coming in every end of the month, so that you can actually be able to balance out your cash inflows and your cash outflows. Again, if you need insurance, for some of us, we have various insurances. Some of them, they've been taken out by our employers. Some people will take them out by yourself if you're self-employed. This I'm talking about medical insurance. Some of the good insurances I can point you to, medical, NHIF, medical insurance. List them out and see if you can go into the market and try and find out if you can get yourself a good insurance cover that fits the monies that you have, and that ensures it insures you, insures your children, and probably even insures some of the things that we are struggling with. Also look at things that something like insurance mitigate around taxes. Some of them, like the life insurance, some of those insurances will mitigate taxes. So there may be a certain benefit that comes. That is why I said when it comes to insurance, just weigh the benefits. It's about the benefits that you get out of that insurance. It's not an investment, but you look at the benefits that you get to be covered in case of a medical emergency. You get to be covered, you leverage around maybe taxes and things like that. So you just need to be keen when you're entering, have the full knowledge of what it is you're entering into. Again, I would also advocate for a retirement plan. Most of us maybe have those plans already in place through our employers. There are those plans that you can you can engage fund managers. They have the plans for individuals. You can just walk in and start saving small amount of money. Maybe some of them are probably a minimum. You can even get those that give minimum of 50 shillings, 100 shillings, but you're saving. You're putting in somewhere. It's something somewhere where it is growing. Yeah. Then you can, any other form of investment, then you need to put that down in your financial plan. Find out who is offering what in the market. Talk to a financial advisor, and don't talk to an independent advocate for independent financial advisors, not the ones who come and sell you a certain product because they are loyal to that product. They are selling that product. They will not tell you about any other. So that is why when you go to the market, go and speak to an independent, someone who doesn't have a bias over this company, the other insurance board, the other one, but someone who gives you an overall picture or an overall advice over investments or where to invest. Someone who will give you 10 companies offering pension, retirement plans, and tell you the benefit of this one is this, the benefit of this one is this, the benefit of this one is this, and then you can be able to make your choice. Not someone will just come and tell you, I am selling this product, because then they become loyal to that product, and then sometimes you end up finding out that there were other better products in the market that you would have engaged with. I would also advocate in your financial plan, as you do all that, then establish a budget. A budget then helps you in your spending, so that you can be able to track the way you're spending and see which points you can control, which points you can reduce. You can actually be able to start seeing your trend. How do I spend? Where does not just getting to the end of the month and wondering where did my money go to? Because your account is empty, but you have no idea where your money went to. So just to have an idea of, I had 1,000. This 1,000, I spent it on this. And then just to be able to make good choices I make a clear choice that when that 1,000 comes, then I'm going to spend it on this. Because then the other problem we have is when you get the money, then you might end up not putting it where there is priority. I mean, so you need to already have established your priorities, established your expenses, established what you want to do, so that when the money comes, you actually take it to where it is supposed to go. Otherwise, there's a possibility that before even you start thinking, I probably need to do this, the money is already gone. So that is how a budget helps you, and I guess I've just looked through the financial plan and some of the areas that you need to look at. I'll just give you a few tips, and maybe I have talked about most of them before I close this, or just a sort of a recap of what it is that we have spoken about. You need to seek out, always know that investments, when it comes to paper investment, and I hope I explained what are paper investments. These are the unit trust, all these things that are not, they are alternative, they are investments that are in securities, shares, commercial papers, bonds, all those. The higher the return you need to mitigate your risks also around paper investments, because some of them will promise you very high, extremely high returns. But you have to look at the risks are also, the higher the return, most likely the higher the risk. And I'm talking about things like commercial papers that give you crazy sort of returns, but you need, don't just go in. You need somebody to really look at the company you're investing in, because a lot of people have lost money in these very high returns companies. And some of the companies offer very high returns because they have issues. They're having financial issues, so they are looking to get, they're just looking to get money from the market. And they offer very high returns, but they end up maybe even sinking with your money. Yeah, and we have had so many cases of that. So evaluate your risk appetite. Don't be greedy when it comes to investment. These are things that you grow. The secret about it is consistency, not just going for a hit of 20% return and you're not consistent about it. The building wealth is about consistently doing it. Even if it is a small amount and you're doing it consistently, then you're going to eventually get to that financial goal which you're looking for. So that is one of the tips. Even when you're considering investments, diversify your risks, put a little bit in your retirement fund, put in a different company, put something else in a unit trust, in a different company, not just the same, again, the same company. Put a little bit in maybe property and equities and such like. That is what diversification is all about. At least do like different, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Always remember to separate your income, have your seed and have your bread. Don't consume everything that you get. Save around minimum of 10% of your income, but this is not a prescription. It is, you can save more. You can save, just make sure that you're saving something. Then there is leverage on groups, on places where you have like-minded people, like this particular ADAT foundation. Let us leverage on the numbers to pool and do some form of investment to grow something for the, because then we can engage professionals. As a group, we will be able to engage professionals rather than an individual. We can help the individuals who are, you can help lift individuals who are unlikely to engage in this growing wealth thing. So let us use these groups, because like I said, the person with leverage when it comes to, say, fund manager, where you take your money in the unit trust, it is the person who owns that fund. They have the leverage. They are able to take your money, the money that all you people have brought, and do big things with it. So as a group, if you can be able to come together and form a small fund, then you can be able to do things for each one of you that you may not be able to do as a person. And it's just about engaging somebody professional to guide you around that. When it comes to debt, don't take debt to buy liabilities unless you have really calculated your cash flows. Take debts to buy assets. don't take debts for consumption. Just avoid that debts for consumption. During this period, also take advantage to purchase assets. There are assets that are appearing maybe at a discount. People have discounted maybe properties. People have discounted, because of the nature of what we are going through. You could have some cash somewhere which you can use then to purchase assets at a discounted price. So look out for that. Also, as an individual, like we said, always know that the most valuable asset is you. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself to become a person of value, to become a person of mastery, a person of integrity. Invest in your child, because I believe there's something that is inside that child that needs to come out. Invest until you see you have, and you don't stop investing in yourself, by the way. You don't stop. You do one thing. After you've done that one thing, you do another thing, a higher thing. You will always be guided. This is probably the area that I need to learn a bit more about finances. I need to learn a bit more about this. Continuous, be a long-term or a life learner. Be a learner for life, always learning new things, always adding value to yourself. And then before you know it, people start calling you, people start seeing the value that you have, and you start making wealth. I mean, wealth starts to look for you, because people then, you attract that wealth with your value. You attract it with your value, with the way you have grown your gifting, the way you have grown your skills, then you start to attract that wealth. And there is nothing as fulfilling as the wealth that comes from the thing that you do with your own hands, with your own gifting, with your own talent. It's so self-fulfilling. You keep, once you get it, you get to have that place, then you feel you just need to just go on and on and on and on. And that is how we should be. Always hungry to learn new things and to develop ourselves. And then as you do that, mentor others. As you do that, one of the ways to grow your gifting and your talent is to lift others and to impact on others with your gifting. Look for people whom you can grow. Look for people who love what you have, and they would want to get it, and just disciple them and talk to them and teach them and bring them up. In that, you also continue to learn, you continue to gain more skills, and you're also giving. Then again, this is a principle. Again, it's a principle of wealth creation. It's a principle of the kingdom. You have to grow yourself. That is a principle, and you have to give what you have to others. You have to give what you have to others. So use your gifts and talents, identify opportunities to where you can, where your passion is appreciated, where your gifting is appreciated. And then I just want to close with this. Success to a bird is flying. All our successes are not the same. Each one of us has their level of success. So don't compare yourself to the next person. Don't compare your child to another child. All of us have different levels of success. To a bird, it is to fly. If it does not fly, then it has failed. So for you, it is the fulfillment of what you carry inside of yourself. As the minute that comes out and you are able to impact one person, two people with that, then you have achieved success. So, and that could be you are a teacher, you are a leader, you are, it could be in so many things. You are an artist, somebody has appreciated. The minute people start appreciating what it is that you are carrying, then you're starting to see success. Always know that you came with everything that you need to fulfill that success. That success is what you should now start asking. What does success mean as a person? You came with it. You're not going to look for it around. You can develop and enhance what you already have, but you already have that inside of you. It is probably hidden in the layers of so many things that that attach themselves to us in this
Mary, we seem to have lost you a little bit. Okay, sorry guys, we seem to have lost Mary just a little bit. Oh, and she's back. Okay, go on, Mary. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can. Go on.
Okay. Yeah, I was just concluding. Thank you, Jackie. I was just saying that don't compare your success with anybody else. That package that is inside of you, the minute it comes out and people start appreciating what you carry, then you're already on your way to being successful. Continue to enhance it, continue to impact many more people, and then you will have fulfilled the purpose that you're here to fulfill. Thank you.
Thank you. So we've got a couple of, that was really very, I don't know what to say. There's so much I can even begin to do now. And just because we are in this very confusing, very season, nobody knows whether we are coming or going or what day of the week it is because of COVID-19, it doesn't mean that we can't continue with our investments. I've gotten that very clearly. And I can just begin where I am. It's never too late, like we were discussing before the webinar began. It's never too late for anybody to begin. You can begin at any one place. So we had a couple of questions. So I don't know whether Damaris, I can see the question that you had asked before. It seems to have been covered up by subsequent chats. I'll try and find it again. But one of the questions that had been asked is, how do you invest in yourself and your child? How do you invest in yourself? Because you said one of the pointers you've given, yes, is so
okay. So investing in yourself is actually being able to spend money on yourself, like like the way we spend money to go for formal education. So invest in yourself to learn about finances, pay some money to somebody who is an expert in that area so that they can teach you. Invest in yourself for you to have your heart healed. Invest in yourself to seek a purpose coach so that you can know what is my area of calling, who am I, what do I mean when I say success, because these coaches are out there. You can seek them out. Invest in yourself. Don't just sit and sit on your gifts. Invest in yourself, in people who can actually be able to help you bring out those gifts. So that is what I mean when I say investing in yourself. Invest in your person so that you are growing yourself. You are learning new things. You're coming out. your gifts are coming out, your talents are coming out. If you know you have certain talent, say for example, you know that you're good in making hair, for example, then you need to take yourself into a place where you will enhance that skill. That is what I mean by when I say grow yourself, invest in yourself.
Okay. All right. So one of the, even as we conclude, one of the things that our attendees have asked is how they can get hold of you. And I think that's very important, because I don't think that you've exhausted everything you can ever tell us about financial wellness or how to take care of ourselves financially. And I even dare to say that even though we titled this this webinar, Financial Wellness for the Special Needs Family, the tips you've given us really cut across. It doesn't matter whether you're in a special needs family or whether you're in a typical family, anybody and everybody can use these tips. So Mary, how do people find you? How do people connect with Avisha Solutions?
I have given my website, I don't know if I can put that up again.
Yes.
Can you see it? Hello?
No, you'll have to share. I think you'll have to share the screen again.
Okay, I can share my my website. I can share my contacts so that if you need anything from me, then you can contact me directly.
Yes. Are you able to project the page you had that has your website? Or do you want to repeat what it is so people can just take note?
Let me try and share again.
Okay.
So that is the page. The telephone number is down there. Then our website is up there. And I guess you can just contact me on phone if you need to have a financial coach, somebody who will coach you through wealth creation.
Okay. So, right. So in conclusion, we just want to say we are very, very, we're very grateful. We're grateful that you could join us this evening, for giving us your time. Our attendees are saying thank you very much for the contacts. They've seen it, they've taken note of those. So maybe we can stop screen sharing even as we say our goodbye at the moment. So I want to just thank Mary for being with us this evening, for having time. It's not easy to find time in a busy schedule to just say, I will share my knowledge so that other people can also benefit. So Mary, we just want to say we're very, very grateful. We hope we can come back to you even with questions on things that, that are puzzling us. Even as we continue to grow our wealth, and we hope we can even call on you when we are ready to measure and say how much we have grown and what else can we do now that we are in the quarterway mark or midway mark, or we think now we are wealthy. One of the things that I like to say even about wealth creation is, even when you're doing those budgets, we should also do a little bit of a budget that blesses other people, so that you're not creating wealth just for yourself, but you're also looking at those who are less fortunate around you, because you can never lend to God. So whatever you give out always comes back several times over. So even as we conclude, we want to just say thank you. We hope that you're going to join us in the webinars that we have, like on Thursday and on Friday. We'll continue to learn, even as we continue to learn how to take care of our special needs kids in the house. So have a good evening. We are glad that you are able to come and join us. Mary, God bless you. Thank you very much. And may your knowledge increase so that you have an overflow to give to us as well.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you so much, moms. I really appreciate, and I'm glad that I am here.
All right, people. So have a good evening, and we will see you on Thursday for our next webinar, which is going to be on applied behavior analysis in our homes. So have a good evening. God bless you. Yes.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.